What's up guys, welcome to That Freaking Geek. It is 2022 and we have tons of exciting entertainment coming out this year, including video games, and that's what this video is all about. My 5 most anticipated games for the year. And guys, there is so much coming out this year, and so I had to kind of dwindle the list down to 5 games. If your game didn't make the list, I am sorry. Why don't you let me know in the comment section why that game that I didn't mention is so important to you. But this is not your video, this is my video. Let's get right into it. Starting my list, and just a bit of a disclaimer, there is no order to this list except for the last game. The last game actually is my most anticipated game, so watch till the end. But to start off the list, we are getting a Harry Potter game, and no, not some weird Pokemon Go ripoff on your mobile phone. We're getting a full AAA huge experience where you get to roam around the Hogwarts castle, and it's set in the 1800s. This time, you do not play as Harry Potter, instead you play as your own unique character. That is right, we're getting a Harry Potter RPG game. That sounds amazing, the gameplay that's going over my voice right now looks amazing, and here's the thing, I'm a little worried that it might not actually come out this year. It has seen multiple delays, and the latest one is kind of giving us a broad gun 2022. But nevertheless, I'm still very excited for it. I think the team behind Warner Brothers know what they're doing. And I'm really looking forward to this Harry Potter game. Are you? I think you should be.
The journey ahead will reveal what you stand for. The choices you make now will define the legacy of Hogwarts.
Moving on to a game that I think not enough people are talking about, and that of course is Atomic Heart. This is a Russian-made game, and so a lot of people don't even know about it. And you see, the thing is, this is also a game that is coming out that this is their first game, the company's first game. The games that they've come before, I mean, look, they have had games before, but they're like smaller titles, and I don't count them because they're not a big title. I know, hate on me, whatever. But this is their first big game. They've got tons of budget for this game, so much so, there's so much confidence in this game is that Xbox is getting behind them and bringing the game to Xbox Game Pass. So that makes me think that there is some actual, good people behind making this game. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see when it comes out. But from the trailer, it kind of looks like it's wearing on its sleeve the inspiration that is BioShock. And I absolutely love BioShock. This has a lot of BioShock feels, especially with the weaponry, the way that you interact with the world and you kind of see it through the first person. The animation looks incredible for a small studio. This game looks awesome and I cannot wait for it to come out. I just really hope it comes out this year, because like I said, it's a small studio. They've been delaying this game for years. We've had tons of trailers, but we just haven't had a solid release date, and I'm really hoping this year is going to be the year we finally get to play Atomic Heart. I have another Warner Brothers game on my list, and of course I am talking about DC's Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. That's right, it's there right in the name, Kill the Justice League, and you are playing as a shark, as a crazy woman, as a man who can throw a boomerang and run kind of fast, as a kind of really good guy with a gun, and somehow they're meant to kill the fastest man alive, Wonder Woman, Superman, and I wonder if they're even Batman. We've seen trailers, but we haven't seen Batman in the trailer. We've seen Superman, and he looks freaking badass and evil. And basically, Brainiac has, brainwashed all the Justice League members, and they are wreaking havoc. And the Suicide Squad are the ones that have to take them down. I don't know how that's going to play out. I'm so excited to see that. I'm really looking forward to the story elements. I think what we've seen in the trailers is that it's going to be really great dynamic between the characters. And on top of that, the gameplay looks like so much fun. But here's where I'm worried. This is also a multiplayer co-op game where you can switch between the different characters and play as the different characters with your friends and stuff like that, which sounds really cool on paper. But the problem with that is that when you build a multiplayer game, a co-op game, there is a lot of rules and stuff that they've got to put around it so that it makes sense for everyone involved. And so there's a lot of restrictions that come in when it comes to a co-op multiplayer game. Nevertheless, these are the guys who made the incredible Arkham series. Arkham Knight was really good. Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, You know those Batman games, they're really good. And so I have not just high hopes, I have huge hopes that this is going to be really good. I cannot wait.
You want to see what a real hero can do? I'll show you. Come on then, you prick! Really thought Flasher had us that time.
Moving on to a game that I never thought I'd put on my most anticipated games of the year, and I'm talking about a Nintendo game. Breath of the Wild, when it came out in 2017, was brought into the world with rave reviews. Everyone absolutely loved it, and I was very jealous that I couldn't play it because I didn't have a Switch. A year later, I got myself a Switch, and I kind of didn't really get into it at first, and then years went by, I had the game, I didn't really play it. I don't know why. It's considered, literally IGN puts it as their most incredible, the best game of all time, and so I kept on like wanting to get into it, but could never really could. And the next thing you know, this little thing that, the pandemic kind of happened, and we all went into lockdown, and so I had so much more time on my hands, and so I decided to give it an old college try, and I did, and I fell in love with the game. Nintendo knows how to make incredible games, and Breath of the Wild has literally in a lot of ways kind of ruined what a good game is when it comes to open world. This is a game where you're thrown into the world and you get to decide wherever you want to go, you can go. Yes, some areas are probably a little harder than other areas, but as you learn that, as you experience what the different kind of dynamics of the world. And so if they can take that, what they put into Breath of the Wild, and build upon it and make it better somehow, I don't know how they're going to do it. And the other games I was talking about, what am I worried about? But I don't think I'm worried about anything in this game. They've literally have made a 10 out of 10 masterpiece in their last game. The only thing they can do is do worse, and I don't think they can. I think they can only do better. And so I'm really looking forward to it. They don't even have a name for this. It's just called the sequel to Breath of the Wild, which is kind of funny. When will we know the name? Who knows? But let's just hope that the game actually comes out this year, because I cannot wait. Alrighty, to end off the list, what is the game that you need to be looking out for? What is the game that will probably be the 2022 Game of the Year? I am talking about God of War Ragnarok. God of War, when it came out in 2018, was a massive hit. So much so that it was my favorite PS4 game, and to this day, probably one of the best games of all time. I absolutely loved it, and I cannot wait for Kratos' next adventure. This time, we are still in Norse mythology, but we are being introduced to new characters. We are going to get Loki, we are going to get Odin, we are getting the Norse God of War here. There is so much more depth into this game. It's going to be absolutely incredible, and you can see that they were given even more budget for this game. Who knows where they're going to go? Just a bit of a disclaimer, two things. This is a new director that's taking over. Cory Barlog is still involved, but is not as involved. New director's coming in, so I wouldn't say I'm worried. I'm just more interested to see how this person takes the story and kind of brings it to a close, because that's the other thing, is that this is actually the end of the Norse saga, so to speak. But it doesn't mean it's the end of Kratos and Atreus' story. Who knows where they're going to go with this next, but for now, we'll just have to look forward to Ragnarok to just quench our thirst for what's going to happen next. Can you believe it? A Game of the Year, just quenching our thirst for something even better, because that is what Cory Barlog is working on.
In moments of crisis, panic does nothing. Harness it. Let it serve you.
Here!
Are you coming with us?
But that is it. That is my most anticipated games of the year. What do you think? Like I said, my most one is absolutely God of War Ragnarok. But what is yours? I'll be very interested to see. If you're new to this, once you subscribe, it'll be fantastic to have you on. But that's it from me. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.